listen to us, and let's start. So this is me when I was a little girl, and you can see that if I didn't get what I wanted, I could make a scene of it. And this is me when I was 18 years old and a fitness instructor for combat soldiers, responsible on one battalion, already in the IDF. And I really, really loved my job. Every day I woke up, I had meaning in my life. I felt important. So at this point, after 8 months of service, I decided that I want to go to officers' course. I want to widen my influence on more battalions. I want to be even more important. I want to have influence also on commanders and more soldiers. So after 1 month, 1.5 months of testing and examining, I got the response that I can enter officers' course. So here, I don't know why you can't see it, but we'll check in a moment.
Alright.
Maybe right now. Okay, so here we'll check it. Let's see if there is a... No, put it on presentation. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit more before we will see the video. So at this point, I was 2 weeks from fulfilling my dream to become an officer in the IDF. I was standing in Jerusalem with my friend, and we were on an educational trip. The purpose of the educational trip was to connect between the future officers and the Holy City during the week of Pride, values, and Zionism. So we were standing there in a beautiful spot that's called Armon Hanatziv, and you can see there all the beautiful view of Jerusalem. And sweet. You are taking all the... Okay, so wait until I show the video. I will show you a video, and in the video I was standing with my friends, and a terrorist came with a truck and hit us, and he wasn't satisfied by hitting us once, so he reversed the car and then hit us again. And before I'm showing you the video, I just want you please to look on this group of cadets, and not this one. Look at this group of cadets. A truck will come from the left side, from here, will hit here my team, the soldiers, and then the terrorist will reverse the truck and run us over again. Wait a second. Did you see it? Because I didn't see it. Yes. So here's the truck, and then a reverse, and then it will stop here at this point. Continue, and then stop. And I will show it another time if somebody missed. Yeah. The terrorist killed 4 of my friends, injuring 15 others, and I was one of the soldiers that was severely injured. These are 4 of my friends that were killed in this event. Erez Orbach, Yaeli Putiel, Shir Atzur, and Shir Hajjaj. Zichronam levarcha, we say in Hebrew. May their memory will be a blessing. And may I ask you a question, guys? How many people usually sit in your classroom? Like approximately, somebody can throw me a number. 20, 30, 40 sometimes. So in officers' course, we are 60 cadets. We are sitting together from 6 a.m. until midnight, listening to each other's opinion and thoughts, being friends of each other, and becoming family of each other, because in officer schools, we're allowed to go out sometimes once in 3 weeks, sometimes even more, for a couple days home, and then returning to the course. And I want to specifically speak about Erez, that was a very close friend of mine. Erez had a life-threatening medical condition. And one of the times when he was fighting on his life on the hospital, his mother prayed to God and said, "Dear God, please give me more time with Erez. He will be the best man and the best Jew he can ever be." And when we were starting officer schools, our commanders gave us a mission. And the mission is to write on a small note, "What is your dream?" I don't remember exactly what I wrote, but it probably looked like, "I want to be a successful woman in the IDF. I want to be a successful officer in the IDF to have a big career." But Erez wrote something totally different. And this is the note they found in Erez's uniform after he died. "החלום שלי, להיות אדם טוב ולהשתפר כל הזמן. So my dream is to be a good man and to be a better person every day." This is the man we lost in this attack. So his mother really asked for more time, but his time was limited and ended that day. And this is how I looked when I arrived to the hospital. I remained conscious most of the time following the attack. So initially the doctors didn't think I was severely injured, but after a couple tests, they realized in fact I was. And what was my injury? So my injury was that I broke all my pelvic bones. And because of the broken bones, my liver tore. So I had internal bleeding, what put me in life danger. Instead of that, I fractured my vertebra, my nose, my jaw, and I had a lot of pain. I could only stand on the hospital bed without the ability to get up or do nothing. And I remember 2 really meaningful days from the ICU. The second day, I was 4 days at the ICU, and the second day, I remember that an Arab nurse came to my room and she had to take care of me. But I was so frightened that I held my mother's hand like a child that's crying before they are going to the dentist. And then I realized I have something that's called PTSD, that after that I understood that it's post-traumatic stress disorder. I was frightened and afraid. And after 4 days at the ICU, I felt so dehydrated because for 4 days I was prohibited from drinking or eating. So I felt dehydrated, and I asked the nurse, "Please, give me a cup of water. I feel that my throat is killing me, I cannot speak." So she left the room and came back with an ice cube and said, "Dana, this is what I'm allowed to give you." And after 4 days at the ICU, the doctors waited for my body to stabilize a little more, and then they operated me. After I was here, another photo of me connected to all the machines. So after 4 days, they did a surgery that took 4 hours, and it was a very risky surgery because they should have reconstructing my pelvic by inserting 2 screws and 2 plates. This is the front and this is the back. And by doing it, it's very risky because it can cause irreversible damage to nerves and even to lead to numbness in the legs. So I wasn't sure what is going to happen if I will back to walk again. So this is me in the hospital. I need to stay in the hospital for another 2.5 weeks. Hello guys, how are you?
Good.
John, I'm just telling them that the truck ran me over, not something very special. So This is me in the hospital. This is a photo of Chabad people that came to the hospital and sent for me. And this is Benjamin Netanyahu, of course, the former Prime Minister of Israel, that also came to visit me. And I want to tell you something very special about the Jewish people when something like this happens. So when bad things are happening in Israel, the Jewish people know how to be united. And even when I'm speaking on it, I'm getting excited because I didn't take it for granted. When I was at the hospital, people all over the country, from all over the country, came to visit me. They brought a smile, sometimes a snack, sometimes a flower. Sometimes they came with nothing, or just an Israel flag, and said, "We love you. You are our sister. You are one of us. We are behind you. You are a hero." And they gave me a lot of hope, and they wanted, make me want to be stronger. And after 2.5 weeks in the hospital, my luck was that my parents did everything they could, so my house will be accessible for me to stay in a wheelchair for another 2 months. So this is me home on a wheelchair, and even on a wheelchair I found my ways to train. I had to stay on a wheelchair for another 2 months without the ability to walk, to stand, to move or nothing, just on a wheelchair. And after 2 months of sitting, I started to walk. After 2 months, I started the physiotherapy, and I was learning to walk from zero, to stand and then to start to walk. And I did very hard training, bless you. And I did very hard training. I came to the gym, I came to the physiotherapy for 4 times a week, putting the job, walking. No one can speak with me, no one can find me. My phone is turned off, Dana is walking, because my dream was to come back to the IDF. My dream was to complete the mission I started. I wanted to be an officer. So I did everything I could, so the rehabilitation would be as fast as I can. So this is me the first time. And after 4.5 months from the attack, I did my first run. So I ran for the first time only for 5 minutes, but for me it was the most optimistic and fabulous moments that I had. And I couldn't take my smile off the face. And on my shirt, it's written the name Ratzim Lezichro. It's for the memorial of, because I decided to dedicate it, the first run to the friends I've lost at this attack. So I couldn't stop smiling, and I couldn't be more happier to return to do what I love the most. And this is me even doing some push-up. Here I was on a wheelchair still, and the doctor said, "You cannot stand." So I decided to improvise and did some push-up on a bed. Like I told you, my dream was to complete the mission and come back to the officer school, so this is what I do. I came back to the officer schools and I finished it, and I have to tell you something about it because I imagined this moment so many times of me walking and receiving the pin. I worked so hard, but I never imagined it while I was on a wheelchair with 4 of my friends that were not here anymore, and another friends on a wheelchair as well. But I succeeded and I got to officer school. I received the pin I worked so hard to get from my personal commander. And after 1.5 years, spoilers. After another 1.5 years, the doctor decided to do another surgery to remove the plates and to remove the screws. So I thought that the worst behind me, but apparently it wasn't, because it was another time, another rehabilitation, another time that I need to learn to walk from zero and to stand without the ability to run. Another time the physiotherapy, the heart training, the pain, the painkillers. that make you like a robot, everything from the beginning. But I decided that I'm not giving up, and I will do everything I could, so I will get back to the IDF. So after a full rehabilitation and a successful one, I returned to the IDF, but now to my dream job. This is me standing on a stage with the main chief commander of the IDF, receiving a trophy because one of my battalions won a championship, a combat championship of the IDF. Right now I was responsible on 2 battalions, men and women that were serving together, combat soldiers, men and women that are serving together as one. A whole unit is under my command of the fitness instruction, and I'm doing all of this, and one of my battalions won. And I was so excited, and for me it was a closure because the main chief commander saw me the first place at the hospital while I looked like a truck ran me over. But now I was standing smiling, and after almost 5 years in the IDF, I decided to release. And today, I'm doing what I love the most. I'm a fitness instructor, a group fitness instructor. I have my own groups and my own personal trainees. And I also start physiotherapy because my dream job, my dream is to help people to achieve their goals and to get over this kind of injuries, to believe in themselves, that everything is possible. This is Oren. Oren was the main chief commander of the fitness of all the IDF. He was a very busy man, but although he never gave up on me, he believed in me when anyone else did not, and he was behind me. Even though his schedule is so busy, he came to visit me every week from the hospital until I finish, until I receive the pin, everything, and helped me with all the discussion because I can't take it for granted that a person that got injured so bad in the IDF will come back. It's not something, it's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing that the IDF is accepting. So Oren helped me with all the discussion and everything. And in the last 2 years I was so busy because I wrote my book. A book that's called 28 Seconds, 28 שניות. 28 seconds, it's the time that the terrorist started a drive until my friends shot him to death. And the book is telling my story. And the book is giving tools and tips how you can deal with obstacles in life. And to summarize, I have a sentence that always goes with me. And it's, don't hope for good, do good. Because I always try to do my best, and I didn't wait for good things to happen. I push hard until they do happen. I decided that no one will sabotage my dreams, and no one will decide how my life is going to look. I'm the one who's deciding. And my life looked exactly the way I wanted them to be. And I did everything I could, and I returned to the IDF. I achieved my goals, and another thing is that I won, because the terrorist didn't try to hurt specifically on Dan Ophir. He tried to hurt the Jewish people, but I fought, like we always do, and I won. We won. And for you guys, what I wanted to tell you is that you should be proud of the IDF, because without it, the existence of the State of Israel is uncertain. And you should believe in yourself. You should believe that everything is possible, and you can go through anything life puts in front of you. And thank you for listening, and thank you for being here.